Good afternoon, everyone. It's weird saying this, but coming to you from sunny, hot Ohio. It's usually when I do these videos, it's cold, snowy, or rainy, which is typical here, but we're having an odd day today. But anyways, hope everyone is doing well and staying safe during this time. The figure I chose today was a figure that most of you probably know, but I figured he was kind of relevant with what's happening in today's economy and society. This person is Andrew Carnegie, the steel, iron, railroad tycoon, um, from the 1900s. Um, what a lot of people might not know is Mr. Carnegie was born in Scotland to a poor mother and father who didn't have much. He was born in a one-room house, actually a dirt floor, and migrated or came to the United States in 1848 with his parents to the Pittsburgh Allegheny region. He actually started working at age 14. He was instilled, that work ethic from his father. He worked in a cotton producing factory, making $1.20 a week, which is basically $10 um, a week today. So we know, obviously, that wouldn't go far in today's society. But with his work ethic, he got into the telegraph business. Promoted to a superintendent of the telephone company or telegraph company. Sorry, telephones were not invented yet. Telegraph company. Um, right before the Civil War broke out, he was promoted to superintendent of that company. So as we see, whether it be luck or hard work, once the Civil War broke out, telegraphs were a necessity, and the railroad was a necessity for supplies, for soldiers. Um, and he realized this early on and bought stock in the company, which basically catapulted his career. However, with the Civil War breaking out and him being 30s, which was a prime age for recruitment, Carnegie at this point had enough money, and what he did was, instead of being drafted into the army, he actually paid another man reportedly $850 to take his place, which I did not know this, but that was common practice at the time. Um, so what he did was he helped the Union government run telegraph lines in the east, from the east to the west. He also helped open the rail lines into Washington D.C. that the rebels continually cut, which they were continually replacing. And he rode on the locomotive trains, pulling the 1st Brigade of Union troops to reach Washington, D.C. following the defeat of Bull Run. And he personally supervised the transport of the defeated forces. Under his organization, Carnegie telegraph service rendered efficient service to the Union cause and significantly assisted in eventual victory. Carnegie later joked in his memoirs that he was the first casualty of the war when he gained a scar on his cheek from freeing a trapped telegraph wire. Um, Basically, following the Civil War, he got in the iron and steel business, which was huge, for the rail tracks, the iron for all the ammunition in the army and the guns, the weapons, etc. And he just exploded. Um, his net worth in 1901 from Carnegie Steel was at its peak of $480 million. And he realized at age 53 that with $500 million in that time, which was billions today, that he needed to do something with this money. He actually stated in his book, The Gospel of Wealth, that, let me find it here, that any man who dies rich has been disgraced throughout his life. So Carnegie realized that he wanted to give back, and he gave back in a huge way. He gave away in his last 15 years of his life, out of the 480 million, he gave back 350 million which is in the billions today, um, to philanthropic activities, such as more than 2,500 public libraries he established, and they're all over. They're all over Pittsburgh. Actually, there's some in Ohio. Um, these Carnegie libraries are everywhere. There's, the Carnegie Hall. He donated, bought up land, gave it to poor. Started Carnegie foundations. Started women's homes. Um, he was also, another big thing about Carnegie, he was also one of the first to call for a League of Nations, and he built a palace of peace that would later evolve into world court. His hopes for a civilized world of peace were destroyed, though, at the onset of World War I in 1914. Um, and Louise, his wife, later stated in her memoirs that his heart was broken, at the onset of the war. However, he lived for another 5 years after that war. Um, in his time of his death in 1919, he had given away more than $350 million to the greater good of the country. His philanthropy and the pursuit of world peace, Carnegie hoped perhaps that donating his wealth to charitable causes would mitigate the grimy details of its accumulation, and in the public memory, he may have been correct. Today, he is most remembered for his generous gifts of music halls, educational grants, libraries, and women's education. That's a quick rundown of Andrew Carnegie. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.